Hello, my dear students. Welcome to this new lesson in our course, Syllabus Design and Planning Lessons. Our topic today is about anticipating problems that may arise during the lesson and planning how to respond to these. First, we have some introduction. Uh, Anticipating problems that may happen during the lesson is like checking the road ahead to make sure you have a comfortable journey and arrive at your destination on time. Perhaps you will need to reduce your speed, avoid some roads, or find a different route. What could prevent you from achieving the lesson aim? What could create stress for you or your learners? With with answers to these questions and some planning, you can then respond confidently to the problems during the lesson and avoid wasting class time or confusing the learners. When preparing an activity for a lesson, you might ask yourself, have the learners done this activity before, or will it need extra time? How will I make the instructions clear? And what pairs groups do we need? For grammar or vocabulary lessons, you might ask what mistakes do learners usually make with this grammar? What makes the pronunciation of this word difficult? Are there any irregular verbs? Other areas to consider are the learners, the classroom environment, and the materials, and also the resources and the topic. So, what about the aims? In this section, you will advise the teachers who have difficulty anticipating problems with their lesson. Also, you will develop checklist of questions to help you anticipate problems with your lessons. Another aim is that you will anticipate problems and solutions for 5 lessons and reflect on the problems that actually happen. The last aim that we will try to achieve, inshallah, that you will create a list of common problems and, effective ways to respond to them. So here we have some point of analysis. Analyze. Can you advise these teachers? You can see the first one, Adam. He said, I am always surprised by the language problems that happen. I plan carefully, but there will still be a problem with pronunciation. A word I can't explain or a question I can't answer. This is what is found, okay, with with Adam, okay? So here we need to make some type of advice to him. We should think of some type of advice. Also, we have Barsha. Barsha saying, well, there are so many things to think about with lesson planning that I don't have time to think of all the problems before the lesson. And then I feel stupid when I don't know the answer. So, how can you advise? Yes, Barsha. Nan, the problem for me is when I try to use technology, there is always a problem, and it's something different every time. So, how can you advise her? Things go wrong when I try to do a new activity. The learners don't understand what to do, and often it is a complete waste of time. And this is John. So I want you to think of some type of advice, okay, to make for all of them. I want you to think, okay, some advice to them. Okay, I'm going to suggest you some type of advice. First, for Adam, you can say to him, okay, analyze the language you plan to teach. Think about the meaning, the form. For example, the parts of a speech, spelling, how the tense is formed, and the pronunciation. For example, any silent letters or contractions. Another advice can be look up a good grammar reference book or a learner's dictionary for the meaning of words. Some other even advice, okay? Learners get confused and ask questions when they don't understand the meaning of grammar or even vocabulary, or when or how to use it. Make sure you can answer these questions before the lesson. For example, learners will always be confused about when to use past simple or present perfect. For teacher Barsha, can suggest some advice, okay? Have a checklist of things to think about. What could be a problem with the learners, the classroom, the topic, the materials, the equipment, the language, the activities, etc. You can think of, yeah, something, okay, connected, yes, with these things, or even the problem, okay, of these different, uh, yes, things. Another advice, ask yourself what could go wrong with this. Ask yourself, okay, such type of question, okay, what could go wrong with this? As you look at any materials or activities you plan to use. Okay, you can ask such type of question. Another advice can be what? Anticipating problems doesn't need to take a lot of time, and you might also just be asking yourself questions. Where are, or even, sorry, what will I do if someone doesn't have a partner? This is happen, okay, when we are doing pair work. So you can ask yourself question like that. What will I do if someone doesn't have a partner? You should find some type of solution. Okay? As you walk to the classroom, okay, you can think of solving this or anticipating such type of problem. If you can't answer a question, it's okay. Say, we don't have time at the moment. Let's talk about that tomorrow. So it can be also some other way, okay, of anticipating the problem. Just make sure you find out the answer and then tell the class in the next lesson. So here we have some ways of anticipating problems that may face any teacher. So here, anticipating problem is important, okay, when we prepare our lesson. Uh, Also, we have Nan, okay, and we need to make some type of advice to her. Uh, Nan, always set up and test the equipment, internet, or even websites, etc., before the lesson starts. Ask learners who are confident about using technology to help you. Sometimes you'll find some students who know more than you. Okay? So you can ask them even to help you in using such type of technology. Always have a plan B. What will you do if the technology fails and you can't continue with your lesson? Sometime you need charger or you need some, yes, you need electricity or something like that, and you find it off. So how to solve the problem? You want to use some machine, okay, and you found some problem. You didn't find, yes, even the flash disk, yes, doesn't work, okay. So you should find some plan. You can use mobile phone, okay. Even you can keep some copy of your uh, data that you want to give to students, okay. You can put it in case it is recorded, okay. You can put some copy of it in your mobile phone, so that will help also. So you can expect such type of things, and you can try to find some type of way, okay. So plan B always is helpful, okay. So what about John? For John, we can advise him with that. Allow extra time when you are doing a new activity. John, introduce new activities with language the learners already know or will find easy. Try the activity with another teacher. This will show you what the problems can be. Try demonstrating the activity first for a game, for example. The class could play against you, or a learner or a group of learners could play while the rest of the class watches. So such type of thing also can be helpful. Okay, you remember what John said? Okay, he said that things go wrong when I try to do new activity. The learners don't understand what to do, and often it is a complete waste of time. So here we can advise him with the things that, yes, or even with the advice that we made, okay, the previous point. As reflection, do you ever have any of the same problem that such type of question for teachers, okay, can be asked for teachers who has some type of experience. Who do you ask for advice? So here, even if you are trainer, okay, or you are a trainee, sorry, and you, you went to the school, you can get some type of advice from your your teachers, okay, or yes, your supervisors, say, or even some expert teacher, okay, yes, that's what was you in the school, okay, or the same school. So it can help you also. Try to find some expert, okay. And when we say expert, okay, we mean some teacher with long experience. What advice can you give these teachers? Okay, if you have some type of advice, okay, more advice, okay, you can write them down, okay. Okay, write down 2 ideas for each teacher. This is a work, okay, can be assignment. What other problems can happen during lessons? Yeah, you can think of answering, yeah, such type of questions, okay. But the most important thing, okay, is to write down 2 ideas, okay, for each teacher. Okay? Give them advice. Yeah. The second part here, what do you know? We'll talk about John. John has anticipated some problems for his lesson. The aim is by the end of the lesson, the learners will be able to use comparative adjectives to make a mini book about animals. Good. Here we have, you have learned even in the previous lectures how to make aim. So this is the aim, okay? We say that the aim will start with such type of expression by the end of the lesson, okay? Learners will be able to, then you use a form of what? Verb, okay, verb infinitive or infinitive verb. He is talking about what? Comparative adjectives. So by the end of the lesson, the learners or students will be able to use comparative adjectives. You know, comparative adjectives, uh, when we add er to the adjectives of one syllables, okay, or even or one syllable, or even the adjectives of 2 syllables, yes, with what? In case the second is not full, okay. So we use the form of what? Er, okay. We add the suffix er, or even in case we have more than 2 syllables, or even the second syllable is full, okay. Because we have 2 syllable word, okay. Here we use more, M-O-R-E, okay. So this is a thing that the students will yes, we'll be able to use by the end of the lesson, and also to make mini book about animals. Okay. So let's think of the activity here. Have some activity, match the problems with the possible solutions. So on the right, on the left hand, okay, you will find what problem. Okay, these are problems, okay. And here we'll find some type of solution for each one of them, okay. I want you to think, okay, of some type of solution for each one of these problems, okay. We'll try to, yes, maximize it. Okay, so you should select one of the solution here from A to F, okay, and try to use it with the problem, okay? So the best solution for each one of these problems, okay? I will give you some time, okay, to think about this. So let's return to the answers of this activity. We have some matching, as we said, okay, matching question, okay? So let's start with the first. The learners want to compare three or more animals, but com but comparatives only compare two. So how to anticipate such type of problem? The learners want to compare three or more animals, but comparatives only compare two. You know, here we use the ER or even more, okay? Remember the rule of comparatives, okay, with adjective. Here we can say, yes, the correct answer is checking understanding. How many animals are we talking about? Two. Okay, so what about the second problem? The learners use more with all adjectives. For example, a lion is more bigger than a mouse. So this is the problem, how to anticipate it. We need some type of solution, okay? So you can think of this problem here, that the learner use more with all adjectives. As we see here, okay, he said that a lion is more bigger than a mouse. Bigger is correct, but more is not correct. Okay, everyone is incorrect. So here we can say, you can think of this solution as suitable, okay, for this point. Put example sentences on the board and ask learners to notice which adjectives have two or three syllables. So what about the third problem? Okay, we'll not cover all these problems. Okay, you can try to work on them. Okay, but let's think of number three here. Spelling mistakes. For example, heavier with using Y-E-R, okay, or happier, H-A-P-P-Y-E-R. He just add E-R without working on what? On the Y that preceded with what? With a consonant. You remember the rule here that say yes when we find Y at the end of some adjective and we want to add ER to it, we should look at what? The preceding, yes, sound or letter. Is it a consonant or vowel? In case it is a consonant, we change Y into I, we change Y into I, and then we add ER. But in case we found it a vowel, okay, or the vowel precedes the Y, okay, here we just add ER. So here we should apply the rule, okay, of changing Y into Y for, because it is preceded with V here. Here it's preceded with what? P or V and P. So that means Y should be changed into what? Into I, and then we add ER. Okay, so here we have some type of mistake. Okay, how to solve it? Okay, how to anticipate the problem? How to solve the problem? What is the possible solution? Okay, for such type of problem. You can think of highlight on the board. Y should be changed into I and then add ER. So here, F is the solution, okay, for such type of problem. So problem 3, you can say F is the best solution for it. So here we think of F will anticipate, yes, such type of problem. I want you by the same way to find the best solution from this group, okay, for 4 and 5 and 6. Okay, uh, it's helpful to ask yourself questions that will identify possible problems. Think of one or more questions for each heading below. Your activities. Is there any difficult vocabulary in the worksheets? Interaction. Are there any learners who don't work well together? Language meaning, form, pronunciation. Is this grammar similar in the first language or completely different? Managing the lesson. How many groups will we need? Resources and materials. Do I need to write a lot on the board? Other. Is the classroom hot, cold, crowded, or noisy? Think of the atmosphere of the room itself. Okay. So here we think of such type of questions. Okay, will be helpful to be asked. Okay, to ask yourself about them. Okay, to identify to identify the problems. So thinking of such type of questions is important. Okay, okay. Also, here we have some point of reflection. What other problems could happen with John's lesson on comparatives? Can think of some questions. What different problems could happen in a reading or listening lesson? And what problems could happen in a writing or speaking lesson? You can think of such some questions connected with it. Part C, how does it work? You think of resources. Okay, resources, the example, problems, and solutions in 4, part B, and the questions for anticipating problems, yes, in the answers, okay, and commentary of section, okay, in the on page what, 33 and 34, okay. So here, let's think of what rational. Yeah. Experienced teachers know that the same problems often happen over and over again. So same problems, okay, happen again and again, okay. They also know how busy teachers are and how little time there is to prepare. Therefore, you want to be able to anticipate problems and plan your response quickly in your mind as you prepare your lesson. You want this important part of lesson planning to help automatically and without effort by writing down possible problems and solutions and reflecting on ones that actually happen in your lesson. You will soon become aware of common problems and effective ways to overcome them. Instructions using the ideas from for part B, write anticipated problems and solutions for 5 lessons over a week. Create a table like the one shown below, using a new row for each lesson. Tick off problems that actually happen in the lessons. Make a note of any problems that you didn't anticipate. You think of the table, okay, to the class date, lesson focus, okay, grammar or reading, etc., anticipated problems and possible solutions, and problems I didn't anticipate. This thing, okay, can be included in your lesson, okay, when you prepare your lesson. So think of class and date, class 3, the date 2nd of March. Lesson focus on grammar or reading, etc. We can say it's on grammar. In grammar, we will focus on what? Comparatives. Okay. How to compare. Okay. Comparative adjectives or something like that. Okay. The form of ER, okay, that we talk about, okay, the previous part. Anticipated problems. You think of the problems that we expect, okay. Spelling mistakes with adjectives ending in Y. Learners use more with all adjectives, as we saw in the previous part. Okay, so think of this point, okay, connected with anticipated problems. The possible solutions can be highlight on the board that Y should be changed into I, and then we add ER. Give examples of comparative adjectives with 2 or 3 syllables. Problems I didn't anticipate. Learners were bored. Okay, they got bored. Okay, so you think of it as a sample. Okay, for what you are, yes, what you should do. Okay, now let's move to the point of reflection. What types of problems didn't you anticipate? Were they unusual, or are they likely to happen again? Were they any Were there any common problems? Why do you think that was? What could you do about them? How effective were your planned solutions? What would make them better? Okay, this activity, okay, for together working, okay, work together. What will help you teaching? Here we have problem if to in covering this part, okay? But let's just know the content, okay? Work with a partner, take turns to read out one of your anticipated problems from four parts C and listen as your partner suggests possible solution. Was it the same as your one? Explain your planned solution or what you actually did. Get into pairs with an experienced and a lesson experienced teacher. Okay, so as I told you, okay, this part okay cannot be achieved okay through distance learning. So we will stop here, and I want you to try to answer the question that we talked about in the previous part. And inshallah, I'll meet you again, inshallah, in some other lesson. Goodbye.